Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 3 of the Mind Vault podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Josh.
And we're just two dudes fucking talking about
what we want.
Whatever we want.
Yeah.
You know, it's just about, have open, long-form discussion and, slowing down the internet a little bit, in a good way.
Yeah, because it's going too fast. It's going too fast.
Yeah. It's about bringing human connection.
Not dehumanizing us.
Yeah, not transhumanization.
Yeah.
I've been playing Ghost Recon Breakpoint. You ever play Wildlands?
Is that like a military shooter?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very into like immersive.
Is it like third person or is it?
Yeah, it's over the shoulder.
Okay, that's cool. I haven't played any of them in a while.
Yeah, it's super cool. The first one, Wildlands, takes place in Bolivia. Ooh. And you're basically like a CIA squad. And you go into Bolivia to take down the cocaine cartel in Bolivia, and like you're like a squad of 4 dudes, and you like stealth in, and like you clear rooms and stuff.
Oh, that's sick.
And like it's like fully open world, and it's like huge. Like the map is huge. Like I think when I looked it up, it was 3 times larger than the GTA 5 map.
That's big.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like, it's so big that, like, even, like, playing it multiple times, like, I still don't know the map at all. Like, even if it's somewhere I've been before, like, until I actually get to the actual, like, mission location, I, like, don't recall like anything.
That's crazy.
Like, and it's, the graphics are really good.
You said Wildlands?
Yeah.
Okay. Which
I've been playing the sequel Breakpoint, which I think is not as good overall. I think it's still good. It was really bad. I played it a few years ago, closer to when it came out, and it was pretty bad. But like it's kind of grown on me. And they tweak it and stuff because that's how games work now. They just release half-finished games.
Yeah, I can't stand it. I was just thinking about games all day. Like, people get attacked for disliking these new half-assed games they're half-baking and feeding us.
Yeah,
and to say something like, "Hey, I think that's lame," or I think they're trying to push an agenda, or I think this is like overrated, and people were like, "Oh, hate you," and talk crap and call you all these things and like call you like political things just for like not agreeing or like having too it's just funny.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like
the gaming community, the nerd community in general.
I can't stand it now.
Has become like,
I don't even like video games. Like, I like video games. I'm a gamer. I'm an old school gamer. I guess the one game I kind of played recently that's new that's been kind of funny was like High on Life. Yeah,
I play that too. It's really funny.
Because it's like what I kind of like about that, which is even though like it has like the. Like, I started off playing like a Doom simulator, which is if the game was like that the whole time, I would have played it like that. It was really cool. And like it's like one of those games where you just like look around and just look for like the Easter eggs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I like the. I'm not saying it's not a perfect game, and it's not
it's definitely rough around the edges.
It's definitely like I would like to see it have a sequel and like expand it on and definitely be more polished. It was cool, but it isn't like, that's the thing. It's like they're not finished. They're not fully like But I did enjoy it, and I'm not saying not all new games are bad. It's just still good new games. I just noticed a pattern of really bad recycled or trying to push a narrative, a very annoying old narrative.
Well, I think video games have kind of started to get to the point where
but you're a bigot, fascist for saying something like that about video games. So it's funny.
Just because you think like, hey, maybe you should finish a game, or like, hey, how about we stop like reskinning video games and just making like it's gotten to the point where it's like movies are now,
right?
Where like there's no more like movies were like really cool and original 50 years ago, when they were like doing this stuff for the first time, but like now movies are just recycled garbage, where it's just like, yeah, cool. Like even the best movie in my opinion of last year, Top Gun Maverick, amazing game. I mean, amazing movie. Tom Cruise is the last real movie star like in history. They were actually flying real jets.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like with GoPros in them. Like, so like Tom Cruise is like really flying a jet.
That's tough. He got like his license and everything.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I mean, for the last Mission Impossible movie, he literally learned how to fly a helicopter in 6 months. And like not just fly a helicopter, but like stunt fly a helicopter.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. Like in like a weird like combat, like he's like doing aerial rolls and stuff like that. Like,
that's so crazy.
But like, but like even that, like the ending of the movie is basically Star Wars. It's like we're coming in on the trench run, and we're coming in and we have to get into this thing, and oh no, the targeting computer is broken. Use the Force, Luke. And then bloop, 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 and it goes directly into this little hole, and oh my god, I pull up, yeah, let's get out of here, explosion, and then they come back and it's like, woo, you fucking did it, here's a medal. Like it's Star Wars.
Oh no, that's not good, because then you're just copying.
Yeah,
like you just said it, copying and paste.
Yeah. And so, which like everything has kind of had a little bit of that.
You can have
everything has some influence.
You can have some influence, but we see not just movies, just like games, movies, just like there's nothing's original anymore. It's all like not even like influence, just straight up stolen and just reskinned
yeah
versions of stuff, and it's just
like
tiring.
Yeah,
even like movies are, I think, started first doing that, and then the game started doing it.
Well, yeah, because movies started earlier.
Right.
Which music started that even way earlier.
Probably, yeah.
Like, I mean, the Beatles, the most revolutionary band in the history of music. Literally all music that exists today wouldn't exist without the Beatles. The way that we create music today wouldn't exist without the Beatles. But, like, they were like straight up, in some cases literally stealing stuff, and they admit that. They're like, yeah, I took this bass line from this other song and we wrote another song over it.
Really? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Or like directly like, yeah, I'm gonna sing like Bob Dylan in this song, like, or I'm gonna sing like whatever, like they thought of it as in like, let's get in the minds of another person and write a song like that. And so
I see.
Which is how like they write an album and every song sounds completely different, because they just like pretended to be other types of singers or whatever. Like,
talk about schizophrenia.
Which is, I mean, it's cool. Like,
that's a cool concept.
But music has been doing that for hundreds of years before that, even.
Right.
Where like the whole thing, like, even like when you go back to like the origins of like written music, like Gregorian chants, like Halo theme song shit.
Yeah.
Like they would like take like some existing bass line and they would use that and write another chant off of that.
Yeah,
And then
I
like,
can see that.
and so like,
yeah.
it all has like some foundation that they're building off of. But the point
there's
back
nothing
then
wrong
was
with
that you took it and you expanded on it.
Right.
Versus like eventually now we're at the point where music has gotten so like copy paste,
Yeah.
and now digitally it is literally copy paste.
Yeah.
But like it's not, there's no longer the expansion element of it. It's just, let's do that thing again. Like, you know, let's just steal this music and do it again in a slightly different way. We're reskinning this Britney Spears song to make it, you know, an Ariana Grande song. But you know, now movies have gotten to that point, especially Marvel movies, like where now Marvel movies are just copying themselves, because they've done it for so long at this point that now they're copying themselves. Where now they're their own formula. And so like, you know, now
How you gonna copy your own teammates, your own companies? Like,
yeah, where it's always now it's like it's the same, like superhero fights a bad version of themselves is like how it always ends up. You know, Captain America fights a bad guy who also has super strength and shit, except like he's a Nazi. Like, or like Iron Man fights another dude in his own Iron Man suit, but like he's a bad guy because guess what? He's a capitalist.
oh no.
You know, we're like,
yeah, of course.
or you know, Hulk fights a red Hulk. you know, like. And he's just an asshole, you know, like,
Right.
but so like that's like been like the formula for like forever now. It's just like superhero fights bad guy that has the exact same superpowers.
With the obnoxious political tie.
Yeah, with some, you know,
Some
obnoxious, you know, political leaning.
Yeah.
That is like so on their sleeve that it's just like, okay, can I not get lectured for like a day? It's like, I paid you $15 for this. Like, can you not call me an asshole for like 5 seconds?
Right.
Like, just because I don't want to be a communist.
Right.
Like,
right, I know.
like, Jesus, man, like, come on. Like, how about you make something that isn't about politics like one time? Like, holy shit.
That's why I don't get into that, because they're always talking about politics, and I know it's kind of like the origins of it, but like
Yeah.
I just like what I liked about, I guess, Spider-Man 1 from like
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire is there's just like the Green Goblin. He's just a dick. He's just blowing people up, and he wants to like.
Yeah.
There's no like.
Like, it's just the serum made him evil.
Hey,
So he's
messing up
just
with
a
some
crazy guy.
dark technology, the darkness.
Yeah.
You know, he got the darkness, and then the darkness traveled. You know, and then Toby had to stop it.
Yeah. Like, he's just a dude that wants to blow shit up. You know, because he's a crazy motherfucker.
His pumpkin grenade.
Random.
Razor spacecraft hoverboard. His pumpkin grenades.
Like, when you really think about it, like, comic books are so ridiculous. Like,
they're silly.
It's just
they're
like, yeah,
silly.
it's like one guy in a costume punching another dude in a costume. Like, I mean, like, we were even talking earlier about, like the like the costume criminals in New York now, and like when are we gonna have a costume vigilante start coming around? But like that's literally just gonna be like people like punching each other in the street. like you think in a movie it's like this big grandiose thing and they got superpowers, but like in real life it would just be two dudes punching each other in the face. Like it would just be like fuck you. They'd be like that. Remember the video you showed me of the bare knuckle boxing?
Oh yeah,
Like it would just be like that, but like not professional at all.
Crazy.
It would just be two dudes like throwing hands at each other. It would just be like a bar fight, but in a costume.
It would just be like some like homeless guy in a costume beating the shit out of like some like crackhead pedophile and like
Yeah.
an alleyway next to like a burning trash can. Like
Yeah.
it'd be some like crazy shit like that. While there's like I don't know, man. There's like there's probably are. I think there are. I think I've seen videos of like guys that call themselves superheroes that get dressed up and they try to do like, you know, like neighborhood watch and all that stuff. That's dangerous. It's a dangerous position.
Well, I did
you
read.
don't want to mess with the wrong type of criminals with unarmed.
Yeah. Like I
definitely want to be armed for that.
Yeah. I read a few years ago. I think it's in Seattle. They made vigilantism legal in Seattle, like under certain circumstances. Like you can't use any weapons. Like you have to use your hands. Like you have to just beat the shit out of them. Yeah. Yeah. And so
oh man.
And so basically like what ends up happening, so like there would basically be like, and they're generally just like doing citizens arrests, but like they're allowed to like beat the shit out of them, essentially. Like that's the difference, is like you can beat the shit out of them. And so they basically like, there's like a handful of these like dudes that like basically made costumes, and they go out and they like beat the shit out of muggers. Like and then like
it's pretty funny.
Yeah. And then there'd be like nurses that like in their free time would like make costumes, and they become the sidekick, and they would like, you know, somebody got hurt, they would like tend to their wounds or whatever.
Oh no, man.
And then so like while the dude's like beating the shit out of the mugger, like the nurse is like taking care of like the lady that got fucking bitch slapped with a gun or whatever. And so like basically what it turns into is like the cops will show up, and they just kind of like, people will just like stand there and watch the dude beat the shit out of the mugger for like 10 minutes. And then the cops are like, all right buddy, all right, it's time to take him in. And then they put handcuffs on the mugger and they throw him in the cop car. But like they get to just stand around, the cops just get to stand around and watch this dude beat the shit out of him for 10 minutes.
That's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, props to them. It's dangerous, but props to them.
Yeah, I think they wear like bulletproof vests and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they're usually like trained military, or like ex-cops. Or I think a few of them were like UFC fighters too.
Okay.
So like they're trained fighters or, you know, combatants. So it's not just like random people. I mean, yeah, they are random people, but like,
right.
It's not like just like, it wouldn't be like if I just like decided to like go strap up a bulletproof vest and go beat the shit out of people, like in the streets. Like,
right. It just, you know, criminals use guns.
Yeah, I'm sure now it's probably escalated to the point where it's probably not very safe.
Some guns go through body armor. So, I mean,
yeah,
it's dangerous. But, you know, that's cool. I mean, I don't know. I'm not into that stuff. It's nice that I respect people helping others, though. I encourage that. I like that.
Yeah.
But
It's stupid as fuck, though.
it's silly
Yeah.
because it's like
Just become a cop.
I don't know. It's just
And
I
then
mean, it's just I'm like, but I appreciate like they're looking out for look out for your community, your neighborhood, and your neighbors. That's good.
Yeah.
But like putting on a costume and running around, I don't know, man.
It's kind
Got a lot
of, it kind of screams
got a
get a
lot
life.
You got a lot of time on your hands, man.
Yeah.
How do you afford your bills and stuff like that?
I mean, I guess they have
It's
jobs.
just like they just become homeless. It's like they literally like that's all they do. Is like, they rest their,
I mean, I think they
do it
have.
for the
I think
just to eat.
I think they have jobs. So they have shifts. Like, they're like, all right, I'm off on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So
Off on Tuesday, on Wednesdays, and Fridays.
yeah, like. But all right, so let's get into the deep state thing.
Yeah. So what do you think about the deep state?
Yeah, okay. So there's been like obviously there's like the conspiratorial one world government, Illuminati, Freemasons, deep state thing.
Okay.
Like everyone knows the conspiracy theory, deep state.
Right.
You know, unless they're sheep. But so
I mean, I believe in Freemasonry. I believe in the Illuminati. I believe in like secret organizations.
I mean they're not even secret anymore.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll get like a Freemason follow on like.
Well, yeah,
So-
Freemason is a public
Just like a.
public like organization.
It's like, bro, stay away from me. I don't want anything to do with your organizations. I mean, you can listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything personally against you guys. I just don't want to be.
It's sketchy as fuck.
I don't want to join.
Yeah. But so
Yeah. Go. I want to know more about this deep state.
so like that's like the major conspiratorial, you know, that's like on the level of like moon landing didn't happen kind of conspiracy,
Okay.
where it's like you can never really confirm that, like
Right.
without like literally being the president of the United States or something like that. Like you would have to be like high up in the government to even find any evidence of that in any concrete way without just being like, yo, you're fucking crazy. Like you're just Alex Jones.
Okay.
But one of the like
What do you mean I'm Alex Jones? What are you trying to say?
the globalists are trying to take over. Like,
What do you mean the moon landing? What are you trying to say? It's not.
of course the moon landing didn't happen.
Of course it didn't happen.
There's evidence. Look at the evidence. Like the flag is waving in the wind. But like
No, he was right about the water though.
he was right about the water with the frogs.
He
Yeah.
was right about that.
But so
So he's not 100% crazy.
no. In fact, he's actually correct a lot of the
He's
times.
crazy.
In fact, more recently than ever, he's been correct.
He's
More than ever.
like pretty spot on the last few years.
I mean, he's been talking about Epstein for like 15 years.
Yes,
Like, legitimately.
That's wild.
Yeah. And like to the point of like, yeah, they got this island and political people go there and Bill Clinton goes there and like, you know, blah 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 and like, and so like
Blah 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 blah
blah blah blah blah blah blah blah, and then like 15 years later, it's like, yeah, Epstein's island, and guess what? Here's a picture of Bill Clinton there, like,
Wow.
and so, you know, and that's the public part of it.
All I remember is just like him smiling on the plane seat. There's a photo of him. I was like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, but
I don't think he ever got in trouble for that.
no, because technically, the girl in the picture that was giving him a shoulder massage, was over the age of 18. In that picture, she'd been like on the island for like a long time. And so there's no proof that he knew that she was human trafficked, you know, or like you know, yeah, he was associating with Epstein. There was a lot of people that were associating with Epstein.
I don't know. I don't think I think everyone involved there was doing some crazy.
Of course they were. Like, let's be real.
Occult.
Right. Let's be real. If you're going to the island, you're going there for one reason.
You're not like. I don't care. Like you see the architecture, the gold, the blue, the white, the all the symbology, all the pure occult stuff. Like that's like real life magic, and I don't know. You're crazy. Like you're just fucking crazy if you're in those places. Like
like
I don't want to get too much into this, but like.
But I mean, like, but yeah, I mean, if you're on this plane going there, like, what else are you going there for?
It's just fascinating that like that the press would just swipe it under the rug like that and give you a story like that. Sure, we can believe that, but what if it's like bullshit?
Yeah. But you know, I mean, more often than not, it's bullshit.
Who knows? You know?
Like, I mean, so, but anyway.
Yeah.
So, back to the deep state.
Back to the deep state. The darkness.
So, like, the term is kind of being co-opted. Partially with genuine, like, usage. Partially to get a point across. But, like, basically, the federal law enforcement... the bureaucracy of the federal government is being coined the deep state. So like the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, like those organizations, they're being called the deep state because in reality they have so much power and so much oversight. And they're not elected. Like, you don't elect the head of the FBI. You don't elect the head of the CIA. They're just appointed.
Interesting.
And they work there till they retire. And so there's no term limit. There's none of the protections that we have in place, like for our actual government representatives, apply to these organizations. And so essentially they get to do whatever they want, and most of the stuff is classified. I don't even think half of the like government workers even know what these organizations do. They're literally acting like outside of the powers of the government, except they're funded by the government. We pay them with our tax dollars, but we have no representation over them. They're like an independent organization. And so, in reality, they're being called the deep state because in reality, they act as almost like the arm of the deep state. Like, who are they acting for? Like, the president really doesn't have that much oversight over these organizations. In fact, when the FBI was first founded, it was founded without the knowledge of the president. It was just this dude who was basically hiring Secret Service agents under the table to like start this organization that they called the Bureau of Investigation, because they couldn't call it the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It wasn't a government organization. And they were essentially just operating under the table. And then eventually, like, the president figured out that they were doing this. And they were like, all right, you can keep doing it. And we're going to give you money to do it. And even then, they weren't even an official government organization. It wasn't until like decades into the FBI that they became the Federal Bureau of Investigation and became an actual government official sanctioned organization. And so, but they just operate like with no government. Like, it's not like the president is overseeing the FBI. And so half the time he doesn't even know what the hell they're doing.
Wow.
And so they're able to act to their political beliefs, to their political motives. You know,
Of course.
is there any even oversight on like how foreign entities might even be interfering with these organizations? Like, who knows?
Well, they're definitely foreign.
So like, you know, so it becomes this thing of like, when these organizations are starting to be used to like quash the like most prominent people to like threaten the power of the current office or whatever political office that they deem they want to support. So if they want a Democrat in office, they're going to just start raiding like the most prominent Republican political opposition. Like, now they're starting to influence. There's already evidence with the social media stuff, because most of the Democrats that voted for Joe Biden said that if they knew about the Hunter Biden stuff, they wouldn't have voted for Joe Biden. And so by the FBI literally getting involved with these social media platforms, especially Twitter, where they literally had a liaison working at Twitter, like telling Twitter, like, yeah, like, you know, the laptop thing, it's Russian disinformation, so you got to get rid of it. And whether the social media company is in on it or not, they're at the very least they're being told by a government organization, hey, national security threat, like, do your due diligence here. And
not to cut you off, but it also reminds me of like that that podcast with Rogan and Zuckerberg.
Exactly that.
Talking about
same situation,
that access, and of course Zuckerberg was like, well, I'm gonna not disobey our federal.
Right.
I want to be a good little.
Right.
Good boy. I'm gonna be a little good boy and give up on American rights and all that stuff.
Right.
All those illegal profiling. Who knows what they're doing with that? But
right.
regardless.
Exactly.
Anyway, it reminds me of that.
And it's literally that.
I was just like, what the heck? Like,
that's literally the same situation.
How is that like?
They did it to everybody.
That's psychotic to me, and that's a little bit more darker than what people think, because this goes beyond our government. Then you have
because our government has very little oversight on this.
So you have federal forces, which we don't really know,
acting on their own behalf,
interfering politically on the internet into like apps, social media, like Facebook, which is really popular.
Yeah,
pushing their agendas through that. And we know,
which makes
we know what's up. We know what's up, Meta.
Right.
We know what's up. We know what you guys are doing.
Which, that's the thing, is inherently, so like there's been the thing of like, well, social media actually can quash your free speech because it's a private organization and free speech only applies to the government. But this is evidence that it was the government doing it. Like, this is a government organization pushing a private institution to censor a certain political side specifically for their own personal gain.
It's like getting past the political side. It's like literally like just hiding things of just truth and just common sense.
Right.
It's getting to the point where they're just censoring like stuff like that. It's like weird.
Right. Well, I mean, it's one and the same. Like,
right.
It's the whole manipulation of everything. Whether it's getting whatever political party they want elected, it's, you know, even if they don't really support that party, that's not the point.
Oh.
It's the point is they're choosing what they want. They get to put in whoever they want because they don't want Donald Trump because Trump doesn't like them. So they're going to put, you know, mushbrain Biden.
Right.
You know, where like he doesn't even know where his socks are. Like,
shaking the air.
Yeah, he can't even read.
person.
He can't even read the documents that he's putting his signature on.
What I just like out of all the presidents we've had, this was like the weirdest because like this guy like he doesn't even have like a to me he doesn't even have like a conscience. Like, is he even human? Like, is he an android? Like, he's just so like
Well,
obviously, but like it's just like he seems like the most weakest political figure. Like, Yoda looks tougher than this guy from Star Wars.
yeah,
Like Master Yoda
yes,
can whoop Biden's ass. Like,
yeah,
I've never seen such a frail, like, even like Lord Farquaad from like Shrek. He's a better leader.
yeah.
He had like anyone. Like,
Because Biden is literally like an 80-something-year-old man. Like, he's older than my grandfather.
at least dictators have an agenda and know what they want.
Biden doesn't even know what he had for
He doesn't.
breakfast. Like,
Yeah, he's just like doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know like
I
what
saw
day it is. Like,
I saw a video of him walking into a set of bushes in the White House lawn, like just like totally wandering, and he doesn't know where he's going. So he just the Simpsons meme where Homer just sinks back into the shrubs. Like that's basically what he did. He just disappeared into the shrubs, and like the Secret Service is chasing after him, like, Mr. President, not in the shrubs. Like,
that's so funny.
dude, Kamala Harris, I just can't even. She's like literally the dumbest person I've ever seen on the face of the planet. She keeps bringing up, I love watching her because it's so cringy, because she just, like, at least Biden has the excuse that he's an old man with Alzheimer's, but like Kamala Harris is like a young woman, a young middle-aged woman of good health, and she speaks even less coherently than Biden does.
I haven't even I really stopped paying because I hate politics, and I think both sides have kind of decayed out. But
Yeah.
I'm not trying to. I guess I've been so turned off from it that I stopped paying attention to kind of everyone, even the people I should not that I should, but the people that I think I might like. I kind of just stopped paying because I don't know. I just but I definitely lean more to definitely more right, because it's just more logical.
Yeah. Which I don't.
I just don't like saying I'm right or left, because it's just too, because you got all the sheeps, and they want you to join a team. It's
Yeah.
I don't care about the team, man. It's because it's beyond the team. You gotta look at who's controlling you, who's running this, calling the shots.
Yeah. I mean,
And that's how I see it. So
I think it's also become way more complicated.
it's way
than
too
that,
complicated.
like
to say
than left and right.
Yeah, it's beyond that. It's we're way beyond that now, man. It's like a mindset now.
Yeah, because at the very least, if we kind of reclassified everything, again, we would probably be more like 4 parties than 2, at the very least. Because you have basically on the right, it's kind of split into 2.5 parties. So you have old school bullshit Republicans that are just they feed in to the depravity, and they're just hypocrites, and they really don't give a shit. And they also want to deregulate everything. They don't want to touch anything. They don't want to deal with anything. Which is the reason why things have gotten like they have, because nobody's been there to say like, yo, this is stupid. Like, the shit that you're spouting off is dumb. They just like go like, well, if it doesn't affect me, then I don't care. And it's like, well, now it is affecting you. So what are you gonna do about it? Like, you can't just do nothing anymore. The libertarian thing doesn't work anymore. The Reagan thing doesn't work anymore. The reason these corporations are so corrupted now is because Reagan got rid of all the regulations. So it's not like, yes, you don't want to over-regulate business because then you turn into communism, but you don't want to under-regulate business because you have to mandate the free market. And he totally deregulated it, and all these businesses just became monopolized, and they started fucking with the stock market and just doing money schemes. And that's when you started to see like white collar crime like skyrocket. And like that's like the consumerism, you know, like the darkness takes over.
The darkness.
And so like that's where that consumerist,
oh man,
that flip side, it's the flip side to communism. It's the same thing, except it's not government, it's businesses.
That's crazy.
It's privatized communism.
Corporations, right?
Yeah.
Could you call that a corporation?
Yeah. That's corporation, period.
Okay.
Like, yeah. I think that in reality, the only healthy capitalist system is when you focus on the decentralization of businesses, where you have more localized, regionalized business.
Yeah, because I think I definitely...
Nationalized business.
I prefer that.
Not the globalist, let's send all of our manufacturing to China, let's take all the fucking jobs out of America, and then it's like, okay, what are we going to do? How many office jobs are there? You know?
Right.
How many people can even do an office job? Not everyone is that intelligent, but people can work. People can use their hands.
Yeah.
Like, just because they're not super smart doesn't mean, like, we should give them a welfare check. It means they should be building cars. It means they should be, you know, they don't need to go to college and be put into debt, and then now you want to pay off the debt with tax dollars. Like, no, enough with that.
Nope.
Enough with it.
Yeah.
Like, just like...
Stop it. Stop it.
You know, like, stop globalizing everything. Stop, like, trying to eliminate the working class hero. Like, I'm not talking like proletariat working class. I'm talking about like hard working, you know, American supporting, you know, people. Where like there's a place for everybody to work. Everyone fits into the puzzle piece. You took half the puzzle piece and you threw it in China because you can build that puzzle for half the price now. Not even half the price. 1% of the price with slave labor from a communist country. So in reality, you're feeding communism instead of building, you know,
strong as fuck,
a national American nation of free business. Like,
that's not good.
And then look what happens. COVID hits. We can't get anything from China. Oh my God. Now we don't have any toilet paper. You know?
Oh yeah, you remember that? The toilet paper and the hand sanitizer was being...
It's like, are you gonna learn?
Freaking sheep ass cucks.
Yeah.
Every single one. Like, when I saw my mom with like a bunch of toilet paper, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you really gonna listen to that? You gonna really like...
Yeah. Which feeds into this. Businesses made so much money off of this.
Darkness is strong.
Yeah.
And the darkness makes people do crazy things.
Yeah. Like, in reality, the bourgeoisie, they're the corporatized, you know, money grubbing. It's the same thing as if the government just took all your money and collected it.
Right.
And then they dole things out to you. like with whatever whim they feel like. If they want to starve you to death, they can starve you to death.
Interesting.
That's why I've been looking into farming my own food and trying to like localize my own resources.
Right.
As much like, you know, even just the basics like food, you know, like that kind of thing.
Right.
Where like at least if things were to go south in some manner, like at least I could like continue to like feed myself, you know. Water would be a little difficult. I'd have to figure out how that would work.
Right.
Like I can't exactly build a well, but you know, but like just like kind of, you know, I think like if everyone focused on what they can provide for themselves and the people around them, it would make things a lot better. Like, I think also, like, from a government standpoint, I think that, like, if you're dealing with, like, you know, town or city, and then state, and then, like, federal, like, there needs to be a focus, like, especially on the town level, of promoting small local business.
Right.
And building your own culture.
Right.
Because essentially, when you bring Walmart into your town, you're basically saying, like, we want to bring in this outside entity, and we're not allowing any competitors. We're essentially going to monopolize our town to Walmart. So no other grocery store is going to function unless it's another corporate grocery store. And so these are businesses that are taking the tax money and it gets shipped off to some other state. So it doesn't even go to your town. It doesn't even go to your state. And then, you know, you're making, you know, somebody else rich that doesn't even live in your state.
Right.
Doesn't live in your town.
Right.
You're not really improving your town. You're just selling it out to a brand.
Getting sicker and sicker and more,
you know,
lower quality resources, probably the lowest quality.
Yeah. Like where like if you encourage
also like control that's not even like so you don't know what the heck they can put in that or what's processed as well. So
right.
It's not like you're getting like farmed grown stuff or
yeah.
It's not. That's why I prefer
and it's not localized either.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like any of that. They're talking about like super 15-minute cities, super cities in New York, which is like, oh, I don't have to drive anywhere. Everything's in a walking distance. Store, this, and I don't have to go anywhere. I can just stay at a convenience and just not leave my town and stay in that one like a like a pet, like a little farm animal.
But I mean, like,
I think that's weird, and I think it also like it's also like promoting not driving. Oh, there's no need for cars because they use fossil fuels, and fossil fuels are bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's going to like that. Go green, anti like fossil fuel. This. Not fend out for yourself. Just daddy, big brother, take care of everything. And I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I can see the evil, the darkness. I can see the darkness that could happen really easy if something happens like wrong.
Yeah, well, the question is how much of that is being done. You know, where it's like, you know, it's all going to be corporatized blocks of of these.
That's what I'm saying. It's not gonna
where it's going to be Whole Foods,
right. You're not gonna have local businesses. It's going against all that.
Where like there's going to be a Whole Foods every 6 blocks.
Right. You're not gonna get like an independent like butcher or it's gonna be like a corporate brand. It's gonna be all like which is already like. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like a weird smart city.
Yeah. Where it's like sterilized, homogenized. Like it's all the same. Like one of the things.
Who knows what they could do like in those environments when they get, if it ever like happens like that, like.
Yeah, I mean it becomes communism basically.
Right. I mean it's already like that in cities.
Yeah. Like
people like it's already almost like that. Literally.
I mean COVID definitely accelerated that because the small businesses were the ones that went and it's the big businesses that thrived. Especially because they get bailed out.
Oh yeah, all the big businesses thrived. And they also it crippled like it completely destroyed all the independent businesses.
Yeah. Where it's like
they have to pay fines and deal with all these like and take stuff, a certain thing and that's dark.
Yeah.
That's the darkness.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're literally destroying private business.
Yeah, I knew that, but like
through multiple memes.
Thinking about it, it's been like it's been 3 years.
Yeah.
Holy shit, it's 2023. I'm thinking it's still like man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like, and so
it's gonna keep going from here on out, man. It's not gonna stop, and we're just gonna gotta
like
hop in for the ride.
Like, it's been a while since I've gone there, but when I lived in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, it had the opposite of that ecosystem. It was all about building the community,
right?
Building the city out as like, this is us. This is the community. We're all coming together. We're in this big social machine together. Like even from like the most rural parts to the most urban parts. So like almost all the businesses in the city limits were like small private businesses. So it was like when you got coffee, you went to like a private coffee shop, not Starbucks. Or Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay, wow.
Like if you wanted Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, you had to go out to like the edges of the city. Like when it got into the like more suburban areas.
Okay.
And so, but in the city, it was all, when you went to a restaurant, it was like just a restaurant. It wasn't a chain. It wasn't Applebee's. It wasn't like something like that. And so it was all people that lived in the city, and it was their businesses. When you got pizza, it was like dudes from Lancaster or from the area, and they were making pizza. It wasn't Domino's. And so it created this environment of everyone there was someone who lived there, and when you bought something there, like, you were improving your community by getting a cup of coffee. You were improving your community by getting a pizza. Like, and it all fed into the ecosystem of the city. And so
interesting.
Yeah. And so it also allowed everything to be really cheap there. Like really cheap. Especially because everything that was sourced there came from the Amish people.
That's
because they did all the farming in the rural areas.
Interesting.
And they don't need a lot of money because they don't even use technology. So like they don't need a lot of money. They're just trying to make a living. So they're selling like organic meat, veggies, fruit, produce, whatever, cheese, like everything. They're making breads. Like you went to the center market, and they would like have like a indoor farmers market, and the Amish would come and set up their stuff, and you were buying like the nicest shit, like the stuff that Whole Foods claims to be. That's what this was, except you're buying it dirt cheap.
Wow.
Like cheaper than you would buy the regular shit at like ShopRite or something or Walmart. Like where like you buy beef, they killed that cow like that morning. Sometimes it would still be warm from the body heat because it wasn't even refrigerated yet.
Wow.
Like that's how fresh. And so like the restaurants also sourced from these places as well, and so everything was cheap.
It just sounds like a very healthy ecosystem for like economy, just cash flow for the civilian, the people.
It was like nationalism, but for a city.
That's good.
Where it was Lancaster first.
Right.
Make Lancaster great again. Yeah,
right.
Like where like and it was this ecosystem of everyone acknowledged it. Like yes, like we are Lancaster, we're the city, we're the people, and like we're all here together doing this shit. Like we're all serving each other in this community. Like
that's sad.
I've never experienced anything else like that.
That's sad. Like it's amazing to hear that.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure our neighborhood used to be kind of like that, like 20, 30 years ago.
A little bit, yeah.
Like a little bit, like, but that's some good stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's wholesome hearing that. I don't know.
Yeah. It felt like old values,
Yeah.
And like, it's definitely more conservative there.
Okay.
Like, it's in a more rural area.
Right.
So like, people just had normal values. It's people that like have morals.
Right.
And I'll be real, like, there's crime in Lancaster. There's bad places in Lancaster.
Right.
Like any city.
Right.
But, it wasn't rampant. Like, it was actually pretty localized to like one street. So like you just knew not to go on that street.
Okay.
Which I lived like basically the place I lived was like right around the boundary of that. So like if I went out of my door and I went left, I was in like literally the most like gentrified upscale, like, nice little shops and restaurants and bars and this and that. And like, and then if I went to the right, like I was in like get stabbed territory.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like, but but it was cool. It was
awesome.
It was also really weird because you're like in a city area, but like, especially if it like was really cold, like in post winter when it starts to warm up and the ground starts to soften, all the cow shit smell.
Yeah, it's strong out there.
Would like waft up and then come through the city. So like you're in the city, but it smells like cow shit.
Yeah.
So it was like really weird.
I would go to the Amish country and go to the farmers markets as well, or like the flea markets, whatever they had the food and the snacks and the knickknacks and the antiques.
Yeah.
And it would just smell like that the whole experience. You go to, I mean, I thought I don't know. I thought it was like gross, but you get like kind of used to it because it's there all the time.
You do get used to it.
Like, but yeah, man, that's how you know you're out there, and it's just like a desert of cornfields.
Yeah.
Like blazing sun and just miles of just like
yeah, just farms and
flat,
stuff.
like not flat land, but just like nothingness. It's cool. I mean, I haven't been there in so long. Great food. People there are nice.
Yeah.
Never had like crazy experiences there.
Yeah.
Yeah, good time. Good
But
time.
did you go to the city part of it or just to the?
I went to
like,
I
Amish
went
part?
a little to the city part of it, and we went to a store, and it was like a cool like skate store with like its own like it had brands, but it's like it kind of reminded me of like the local skate shops in my old mall when it had like all these different brands and its own like own selection of stuff, and it looked like a private. It was a cool private business of skateboards and just all like all like skater shoes, clothing, like then like stickers and CDs, stuff like that, and glass window. Like it was really cool.
Yeah. Like it was like if you like, I think you'd have a good time as an adult.
Yeah, I would like to
cool
go there
bars
now
and stuff.
and check out Lancaster, see the vibe there.
Yeah. Like I think you'd really
I like the
enjoy
mini
there.
golf courses they got up there.
Mini golf course.
And like the country roads at dark look crazy.
Yeah.
It's just blackness for
Yeah.
miles, like no street lights. Pitch black, like crazy.
Yeah. I mean, even the highway is like super dark at night. Like, because there's just nothing around for miles.
I couldn't imagine.
Like, there was a point when I was driving. It was like shortly after I moved back here from Lancaster. And I was teaching marching band out there. And I was driving out there like 4 or 5 times a week, which was a horrible decision.
Oh my god!
Because I really
It's
wasn't.
like 3 hours on your car, right? 2 hours, 2.5.
It was like
hours?
2 hours each way.
Okay.
So I think over the course of like a couple of months, like 2-3 months, I think I put probably like tens of thousands of miles on my car. And like I spent so much money in gas, and then like while I'm out there, like I'm getting food, and I wasn't really getting paid very much. Like I ended up getting a few $100s. So like that just broke even with the cost of gas to go out there. But then I was also getting food and stuff. So then I ended up not breaking even. I ended up losing money on it. And so like that was kind of the point when I stopped teaching marching band. I just kind of like was like, okay, I can't, like, this is not sustainable. I like got into a lot of debt. I was like maxing out credit cards.
Oh no, that's not good.
Yeah. Because I was also in the midst of was still stuck on the lease in Lancaster, and so like I was like still paying rent there for like a good portion of the year, and so I was like working part-time at the movie theater, then I was teaching marching band, and so like half the time I didn't have enough money, so I like ended up having to like use my credit card to Venmo money to my roommate so that he could pay the rent for me. So like I would max on my credit card paying my rent.
Damn.
And then I eventually paid that stuff off.
That's good.
Yeah. But like it was definitely like it definitely was kind of like a moment that was like a wake up call for me, that was like, okay, maybe I need to just take a step back and like figure out what the hell I'm doing, because I'm clearly making the wrong decisions.
Right.
And so like now that I'm getting a little bit back involved in it, I'm setting boundaries more, of saying like, you know, hey, like either I have to get compensated like at least the equivalent of if I was working a job, otherwise I can't justify just not working a job, you know. And so or like you're gonna have me for a limited period, You know, where like if I'm only gonna get paid a little bit, then you're only gonna get me a little bit.
Right.
Where it's like I understand if you can't pay more, but like you're only gonna get as much as you're gonna pay for. You know, because otherwise I'll just work another job.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It kind of gives me the power, honestly. Like I realize that like in reality, like by setting boundaries, you actually like you become the one with power. Because but you also have to deliver like hard. So like this past summer, I got paid probably 3 to 6 times as much as most of the other people. And like, but I like had to lay down flawless performance. Like that sound system could not function under any circumstances. Because if you're going to pay me a fuck ton of money, like I can't fuck up.
Right.
So you have to, I was like Batman levels of prepared. I prepared for every situation that could have ever gone down. And to be fair, I had done another summer before that.
Okay.
So I knew some of the things that could go wrong. Plus when I was a member in the group, I like knew some of the problems that would happen. And so I just like, I was ultra prepared. To the point that I was so prepared that it actually gave me less work to do.
That's good.
And so, but then you become the worth of that money. And so, like, you get to say, like, yeah, like, I cost a lot, but you're getting every dollar's worth. Because look at everyone else. They're paying nothing to these other people. And they're getting garbage results. And I'm not giving you garbage results. Like, so you kind of just like, let's whip it out and put it on the table.
All right.
Like, so you just like they basically like, you set boundaries, you deliver hard, and then you take your penis out and you put it on the table. Like,
noted.
That's how you do it. Like, because especially like the other people in the group that were getting paid way less than me, they complain about it all the time. But they complain about it so much that it affects their performance. And it's like, how about you just do a good fucking job, period, and then you get to say, hey, look how better I did it than everyone else. So how about you pay me more? Like, that's the thing. Even in a regular job, everyone's, I want a promotion. I want a raise. You don't just get a raise.
Yeah, you don't.
You have to earn a raise.
I feel like that's how it is with life. Especially, that's the problem about being a spoiled, stingy American. Mm-hmm. It's like, not everyone American's like that. I don't see us like that. Or
everyone's becoming like that.
But people, they don't understand how easy that we have and how much is we're losing and how much we're gonna have to eventually really bust our ass to work. And you have to earn things. People don't just get places. They don't just. I mean, some people. I mean, born in
right. There's nepotism, but
like look at us. We're underground. We're not gonna stop. We have to keep going. Like that's how we're programmed. Like you can't just. I don't want to get to wherever I want to get. Either if it's I'm a YouTuber, influencer, musician, whatever, comedian, whatever, like historian, whatever. I don't, whatever. Like I don't want that title given to me because I'm a victim or I fall into like a category. I want to earn it. You know what I mean? And like, you can't just earn a manager position, or you can't just be given that. You have to earn it.
Yeah. Like,
you have to work for that. You got to put in the work. You got to sometimes smell the coffee.
mm-hmm.
And sometimes you just gotta like get your ass beat. I don't know, like, just realize like you gotta take a beating, but not like let it defeat you. Like, let it like.
Yeah. And in reality, like.
And then you gotta give it back.
Yeah. Which in reality, there are jobs that just like suck ass.
Right.
But in reality, that's because the people above you are half-assing it. So you have to leave that company. You have to find another company where they don't half-ass it.
Right.
Like, you know, you do have that, and that's where you set boundaries. Where like you go like, all right, I'm willing to give you this. You know, I'm going out of my way a little bit for you, but like if there's no return on it, I'm not gonna keep doing it. You know. Like, yeah, I'm going to stay a little late. I'm going to come a little early. I'm going to take on a little extra work. Whatever. But, like, if, you know, if it's not amounting to anything, and it's not even talking about amounting to anything as in, like, oh, I did this for 6 months and I didn't get a raise. Like, what the hell? Because let's be real. You have to do this shit a hell of a lot longer to actually see anything like that. But what it is that if you're putting in the extra work and the other people aren't putting in like the equivalent work to facilitate success in your work, that's when you leave.
Right.
Like,
they're taking advantage.
When they're ruining your hard work, that's when you leave. You know? Because you want to be able to see that your work has a direct impact on the success of the company, whatever that is. Your personal company, you know, a business, a financial business, you know, creative business, whatever it is. You know, you want to see that the business is growing with your hard work. If the business is just fucking doing nothing. Like, when I worked at the movie theater, it's like, it didn't matter how much work I put into it, because I wasn't going to get anything out of it. The business wasn't going to get any better because I tried a little harder. Because the business itself was preventing it from actually happening.
Business like jobs like that can make people go crazy, man.
Yeah, it did.
Pure nihilism.
It gave me my first panic attack.
Oh my
God. I thought I was having a heart attack. And that was the day I put my 2 weeks in. And then the 2 weeks turned into 4 weeks.
Oh, okay.
But, like, you know, and there was other factors.
Right.
But ultimately it came down to the business was breaking itself. And it was de-incentivizing workers. I mean, they literally cut our pay. And demoted half the managers. And so it was just like, oh, I see. So, like, we're not going to get, you know, you're not going to incentivize hard work, then this business sucks ass. Like, if you're going to structure your business so that it fails, then I'm not failing with it. You know, because this is a waste of my time.
Right.
You know, I'll go make money anywhere else. Literally anywhere else.
Right.
You know, we don't live in the medieval times.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you can go anywhere else and get money, the same amount of money. Like, you know, especially when you have minimum wage. That's the kind of the bullshit of minimum wage. But, and so, like, you know, so in reality, like, not only do you have to deliver, but also, like, the reward shouldn't be based on your own personal gain in the immediate, because in reality that's like, life is built on delayed gratification. But you need to see that your effort isn't being ruined by someone else. That is what determines a bad job. Not, I've been working here for a whole year and like they won't give me a raise. It's okay, what did you do to earn the raise? Well, I came in on time, like, and I left on time, and it's like, yeah, well, that person came in 15 minutes early and left 15 minutes late, and they did twice as much work as you. So that's why they're getting a raise and you're not.
Right, that stuff.
Because you put the bare minimum in.
Right.
Like, you're quiet quitting here.
People don't have the motivation, and I get it. Like, there's like that. Because I do respect that work ethic as well. But then there's also like that, well, if I don't like it here and I'm stuck here, but I have to just stick by the bare minimum just to stay, they're going to do that. Like,
yeah.
I could see people just like barely getting in late enough or early enough just to keep the right hours in, just to survive, and they complain about their job, but they don't want to do anything. I don't know. It's like,
yeah,
that's a nightmare. That's how I felt when I work on, I can't even talk about that company, with the gates and the bill. And he has the buildings a lot of people work at.
You worked for Microsoft?
No. The other guy.
Bill Gates.
Not Bill Gates. Sorry. who owns Amazon?
Oh, you worked for Amazon?
Yeah. Who
Oh. Wait, what's his name?
Who owns Amazon?
Jeff Bezos.
Jeffrey freaking Bezos, yeah.
Jeffrey Bezos.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Unfortunately,
we're allowed to talk about, right?
Yeah. Everyone hates Amazon. We're not sponsored by Amazon.
Fuck Amazon.
And hey, Amazon, if you wanted to sponsor us, how about no?
Yeah, I already cursed at them, so.
Oh, yeah, you're not going to sponsor us, but we wouldn't take it even if we wanted to.
What would we get from it? Like stupid, like we get the.
I don't know.
Like the
gift cards or something. I don't know.
What's that? The Prime?
Yeah, you get free Prime.
We got free Prime membership as long as you say good things about us. Like.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Jeff Bezos. I already get Prime through my mom's account, so screw off. Like, so like, but unfortunately, the like over corporatized America has demoralized the worker because they stopped incentivizing hard work. Like, that's why in reality, like, corporate businesses are run by communists.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
They've communized like business.
Heard like I even heard from an interview from himself. One of the newest owners of Microsoft has relatives of a Marxist communist. Like,
yeah. Like,
and the funny thing is like you see the modern gaming industry and you see the direction it's going. No wonder.
Yeah.
And then everyone gets super angry and defensive at you, like them, like communists.
Yeah.
Like, and they want to demonetize you, call you a Nazi.
Yeah.
Say all these terrible things about you just because you don't agree with them. I was like,
yeah,
dude, it's just a game. Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know. I can't do it. Like, people get, like I said, like going back to like, if you just say you don't like modern games, or you just think it's just like this repetitive formula of just like half-assedness, and then also putting like kind of like a woke-ish agenda hidden subliminally or in your face.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
No more. I don't like that. Like,
yeah.
There are gamers that just have been silenced. It's silly. Mm-hmm. Or just like, there are people in general that just see this nonsense. It's like, it's not even just games. It's in my freaking music. It's in my politics. It's in my it's on like my YouTube ads. Everything. It's like I can't escape a political extreme left opinion. Like, it's everywhere. And it's like, oh, you're a bigot if you don't like it. Oh, you're this and that. It's like I'm tired of it.
Yeah. In reality,
People don't like that. It's not natural.
Yeah. It's super demoralizing.
It's like dehumanizing to me. It's like I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
And that's the thing. In reality, its core thing is like, doesn't matter how hard you try, you're never gonna win. Like, that's their message. Like, that's not hopeful at all. That doesn't incentivize people to try to be better, to do better, to strive for anything.
Except that you could see society slowly degrading with these ideologies and these lifestyles, or these like new ways of living. You know, you could see that people are suffering and they're not happy, and they're all on a bunch of medications and stuff like that. Like, it's not.
Yeah, it's just feed into big pharma.
We're not heading towards a beautiful renaissance.
Yeah,
we're heading towards the darkness.
Yeah. Although I feel like people are starting to wake up.
Right. That's why we're here.
Like I feel like there's a glimmer of hope that, like, you know, people are gonna wake up.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be optimistic. You know me, man.
Yeah, you're the Mr. Nihilist.
Pure.
I feel like we're the yin and yang. You're like doom.
But you need the nihilism to see reality, because sometimes reality is so nihilistic because it's not fair, right? So you need that. But like, yeah, you don't want to do.
But it's the hope of overcoming that.
I want to be wrong.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not rooting for the bad guys.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like this. I can't even. I'm on the sidelines. You know, I'm on the sidelines of the battlefield, just seeing who wins. You know, it's crazy. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's part of like trying to form a supportive community.
Right.
You know, of like-minded people.
Yeah, I would love that.
Both in the micro and the macro.
Right.
In your local community, but also in your greater, you know, sphere of influence. Mm-hmm. You know, in everything that you do.
Yeah, I want us for both of us. You know, I want that for both of us, and I want people to come out, because we're not these like. I hate saying these buzzwords. We're not like these hateful, angry, politically driven. Like, we have political influence, but we're not here to like. We're here to make a community. Like, you know, I never saw us as like. I don't really know how I always saw us as like a good thing. It's just I always saw us as like a tool to reach out to find people like us, because like it doesn't feel like there's a lot of us. So maybe there is. Maybe we're wrong, and you know, we're just got stuck in the wrong crap part of America. You know.
Well, and then like media is so pushed towards a very, very like loud minority.
Right, and it's annoying because of the algorithms. Like, I feel like if we started doing this a few years ago, it'd be a little bit more easier to reach out to people. But since everything's so like, even Instagram is like, I barely see my followers there. Everything is just like sponsored, suggested, it's ads. I was like, I want to see my freaking followers. Like, some of their stuff I just miss completely.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
It's become so like consumerized, commercialized. Like, everything is an ad now. Like, half of the videos are ads.
We gotta go back to the days where we saw content from people making content, not just people with like they're making content, but to me it's like only a small minority of people are not a community of people that not like the average person, just like a influencer, some type of like and
they're there to sell a makeup brand,
like, I don't know,
clothing brand.
They have the right to, but like if they can't they can't. Their stuff shouldn't overshadow.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
content like we.
and that's the thing. It's not about the individual creator who does that. It's that the algorithm, that the big overarching company that runs, these apps, these social media, platforms, like they're pushing this,
right.
And it's creating an imbalance in our society.
Yeah, it is.
It's over commercializing our
Absolutely.
society.
It's just-
You can't believe anything that people say because you don't know who's paying them to say that. We're not being paid by anybody to say anything. This is literally just two guys saying some shit,
yeah.
Yeah. Like we're not being paid by some organization that wants us to sell more milk. We're not being paid by Big Milk.
Right.
We're not here to sell antidepressants to you. We're not here to sell you fucking condoms.
Just make you think
Yeah. It's about,
a little bit.
yeah. It's about forming a dialogue. Dialogos, as Jordan Peterson would say.
Oh man.
Because through dialogue you figure out the logic of the universe and how it works.
I love that cult wisdom. So nice.
Yeah. I love Jordan Peterson, man. He's so good. Like, I've been thinking about, he's been making me
He's
think.
not a bad person. I think he has a generally good intentions. I think he has good intentions, and I he does call out stuff that I wouldn't expect him to call out. So I'm definitely respect him for that.
Yeah, I think he also just pushes this idea of like educating yourself on anything is not something that's like school. Learning is not about school, it's about life. Like, we should be constantly in search of learning and understanding the truth of the universe.
That's something parents, I believe, should teach to their kids, though, not the schools.
Right.
Even though I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like, I'm not a parent, so I can't really have an opinion. Like, but if I was a parent, I'm homeschooling.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make them a socialist commie. Like,
Yeah.
get them indoctrinated, become crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I went
Like-
through high school. I could have. I was like, you learn, you read stuff, you get indoctrinated, but then you snap out of it. But,
Yeah.
like, I'm not trying. I mean, I sound crazy. I sound like one of those.
But the thing is, that is the truth, though, because in reality, like, school teaches you how to learn one thing, one way, but that's not how you actually learn. You learn by seeing multiple different opinions on the matter, multiple different views on the matter. You look at different experts in different areas of different fields, and you see their opinion on the matter, and then you piece that together, and then you start to piece together, in reality it's more like this. It's more nuanced than the black and white that we're taught in school, because in school you have to do a test, you have to mark off the correct answer, but what is the correct answer, especially with really vague stuff like history? Like, what's the correct, like, yeah, there's dates, sure,
right.
but like in reality, like, situations are vague, and
You're not learning everything in history either, especially in our school.
right, it's very skewed.
You're gonna learn like a very narrow, skewed, like one-sided perspective that's like sugarcoating shit.
Yeah. Like, how about the simple fact that, like, when we were in school, they told us that America won World War II. Like, but that's not true. Russia won World War II.
Yeah.
Like, they were the primary stormers in Berlin.
Destroyers.
Like, they were the ones that got in the bunker first and found Hitler's body. Like, Like
If they did.
if they did.
If they even.
That's the thing. You can't believe Russians, like especially communist Russians. Like
Yeah, I don't-
Stalin was a huge liar. Like
I know I've said a lot of things about Russians. I don't believe every freaking Russian's a communist. No.
no, well, I'm
Soviet-
saying like that
like,
era of
so-
Russian.
Like Soviet Russians are like really
Yeah.
bad. Like they're like really, but like a Russian, a normal Russian person is just like a human being. You know, obviously.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I kind of because like I have a lot of the shorts that we've made here. I've kind of just dissed a lot on like Russians, but I don't if they ever come across their channel
Mhm.
as like no, it's not you Russians, like especially like the ones that are normal or some even the nationalist ones, like you guys are decent people. I mean, good people like everyone else, but like when you're like communist social, like Soviet communists, like you guys are.
Yeah.
That's dark. That's the darkness, and those are our enemies. So
Yeah.
that's all. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about
We're speaking from a historical
historically.
context.
Like I'm not, I
Yeah.
don't have anything against like ethnically. I don't have anything against really anyone.
Yeah.
So, but it's just like history. You gotta call out people for doing shitty things. So if it's happens to be a certain person that you call them out. I don't care if you get called this and the third. Like we have to be calling people out.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm getting that has whatever. But like, yeah, the Soviets are ruthless at that now and that time. So
Right. Like, yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, in reality, like, schools like super biased. They're going to teach a particular, especially depending on what part of the country you live in. So, like, for example, a friend of my brother's, his sister went to college for history in the South. I think in like University of Mississippi or something like that. And when they taught the Civil War, they literally called it the War of Northern Aggression.
wow.
And basically like taught it from this viewpoint of like, yeah, those goddamn Yankees came in and they fucked our shit up. Like they're terrorists. like basically had this alternate version of the Civil War. And like I guess like this guy's sister like was just like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go back up north, and like, cause this is weird. Like, so like in reality, like, there's huge skews depending on like what part of the country you live in.
Yeah.
Even
that's crazy.
Like, let alone the part of the world that you live in.
That always fascinated me about living in America, because it always feels like each different state feels like a completely different country.
Well, that's the thing.
It's a state. It's
Look
one country, right? But each different state, there's always something that I hear and I never hear it anywhere else in the whole world, but here in our soil, and I'm like, wow, it's
well,
kind of
that's the thing.
crazy, right? It's like,
well, that's the thing. When you look at a map, it actually skews the perspective. But like in reality, our states individually have higher populations than entire countries in Europe. So like in reality, the EU is the equivalent of the United States. In fact, that's why they're having a lot of the same problems that they're having, because the EU is overstanding their like boundaries, similar to the U.S. government here, where they're stepping over on toes that are supposed to be state-run boundaries. But in reality, like, because that's the thing is, like, when you talk, like, the old school language was when you talked about a country, you said state. It'd be the state of Germany, the state of England. Like, that meant country.
Oh.
And so the United States essentially means United Countries of America, the continent of America.
Wow.
Like, America is not the country. We are the United States of America.
Shit. That puts everything into perspective. Like a different.
Yeah. So essentially,
yeah, man, that's why I noticed that.
Yeah,
I kind of noticed that.
because essentially, when the United States, before it was the United States, it literally was individual countries. They had their own currency. Like, you had Virginia dollars and Pennsylvania dollars. And then it was the first time, which is also what the EU was supposed to be. It was supposed to be, we're going to have one unified currency, and you're also going to be able to go between countries without a passport. Just like we don't need a passport to go from New Jersey to Pennsylvania. Like, it used to be like that in Europe. If you want to go to Spain to Germany or Germany to Spain, you needed a passport.
Wow.
So, like, imagine if you had to go to Pennsylvania every day and you had to bring your passport with you. That's what living in Europe was like.
Wow.
Because, like, that's how small these states are. In fact, they're smaller than our states. And so,
Crazy.
like, Germany's like this big compared to like some of our states that are like this big.
Wow. And
so essentially, like, the EU was like their version of trying to have one, overarching sort of regulatory thing for like money and travel. But the United States is essentially the first country to do that, where we decided, like, we're going to have this large area with multiple individual governments, and it's going to be overseen and have a unified currency and a unified military and a unified travel system, like, interstate travel. And that was the point, was the states are supposed to take care of their own shit. The only thing that the federal government was allowed to do was money, military, interstate travel, and, like, maintaining some general guidelines like the freedom of speech, guns. So it means that, like, no state can ban guns. Like, that's an overall rule. Like, we're saying, like, hey, you can't ban guns, period. Doesn't matter if you don't like guns. Like, you want to be part of the United States, you have to give them guns. Like, you can't censor their speech. Like, doesn't matter. Like, doesn't matter if you all agree on it. That's why, like, for example, the abortion argument, it's now back to the states. Roe v. Wade set this precedent that it was some federal thing, that it was in that they made some constitutional argument that the 14th Amendment covered abortion, which doesn't make any sense, because the 14th Amendment has to do with privacy.
Not child sacrifice.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with like anything related to abortion. In reality, they tried to play some word salad so they could justify it, and so, but, like, there is some precedent that you could make it federally illegal, because if you want to define it as murder is illegal. Like, no state can make murder legal, because that infringes on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Because if you're murdering somebody in the womb, you're literally not even giving them 1 second of developing a life, like, of their own and the chance of success. And so that's sort of becoming the argument now. Is, like, it's either at the state level. If it's going to be legal, it's got to be on the state level. But the argument is it technically within the bounds for the federal government to make it illegal in all 50 states if we're going to define it as murder and not a medical procedure? So that's kind of the argument with that. So in essence, like, the whole idea was, like, the states are going to take care of, like, 99% of the laws. Like, if you want to make drugs illegal, like for example, the federal government starts scheduling drugs, makes marijuana illegal, makes heroin legal, makes cocaine illegal, like blah blah blah, and then you have all the scheduled substances. That's actually not constitutionally legal. Like, that's something that the states are supposed to be able to do, not the federal government. Like, if a state wants to make marijuana illegal, the state can do it, but the federal government cannot, in reality. Now, we're dealing with trying to claim that, and you have to get the Supreme Court to agree to that. But that's becoming, that's where the bureaucracy of government gets in the way. Because, some of them don't even care about the Constitution, so they just do whatever they want. So that's kind of like the big problem right now.
I see.
Is that the federal government has been taking powers for over 100 years. In fact, World War I and World War II pushed those boundaries really, really hard, because that's when we started getting into international conflicts. And then the federal government became more important because it was something that the states couldn't deal with. And so the federal government took up like a bunch of power. Like, remember in Star Wars where, like, in Star Wars Episode 2, it's like, oh, the Clone Wars has started. Like, they're starting the shit. The Separatists are starting shit with us. Like, we need to anoint the Chancellor emergency powers so that he can, like, take care of this problem. That's essentially what happened.
That's so sus.
That's essentially what happened with FDR during World War II.
Oh, man.
Where, like, he was, basically given the power to say, I'm going to take your business, I'm going to shut you down, you're making bullets now. We're going to start rationing off food. So now you can't buy as much food as you can afford. You can only buy a certain amount of food so that we have enough food for... And yeah, some of these are justified within a war thing. Now, the argument is whether we were actually justified in getting involved in the war to begin with. But it allowed him to overreach his powers, and essentially he was able to basically create like welfare systems and this and that, and massively overstep the boundary of the federal government, and it basically set this precedent that they've been following ever since. And so so essentially for the last 100 years, the government basically just stopped following the Constitution. And so we actually haven't really been America the way that our founding fathers formed it for at least 100 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can...
But all right. We're in an hour 45.
Hour 45. Holy shit. Oh, shit.
All right. So we should wrap it up.
Yeah. That's longer than the... No, that's just almost as long as the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get a little better at that. But that's all good.
But all right. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, yo.
Make sure you like and subscribe.
Hit that bell.
Yeah.
We're going to be putting a lot of content. I know it is like... We're still so fresh, but fuck it.
Yeah, keep an eye out for clips and shorts.
We're gonna keep improving.
Yeah, as we build this journey together. Make sure you follow us on Rumble. Give us a Rumble if you're watching us on Rumble.
We're also on the gram, so.
And follow us on Instagram. Was it at Mindvault Podcasts?
Yeah.
At Mindvault Podcast on Instagram. Where you can see clips and probably some pictures and stuff too.
Yeah. Some silly shit.
Yeah. So we'll catch you next week. Peace.
Peace, fuckers.